G'day. I'm Dan. Welcome to Travel Reps. This week we're travelling to central Queensland, what's probably better known as the Outback of Australia. It's noted for its rugged beauty. It's harsh, it's arid, but the colours of the earth are magnificent, especially at sunsets and sunrises. It's right in between two of the natural wonders of the world. So the Great Barrier Reef, the largest marine reserve in the world, and Ayers Rock, the largest rock on the planet. And they're great places to visit. If you would like to drive in between them, you'll be going to central Queensland or Outback Queensland. It's a great driving holiday, but it takes time. So for those that are on a short holiday to Australia, or don't have the time for a long drive, you may only be able to visit the Barrier Reef, Ayers Rock, and perhaps another place and fly in between them. So we're going to divide this itinerary up into 3 parts. This week we'll go over the itinerary and we're going to head west from Brisbane out to a place called Charleville. Next week, part 2, we'll head from Charleville north to the Gulf of Carpentaria. And then in week 3, we'll come back through the Outback again via Carnarvon Gorge and back to Brisbane. So let's go to the map. Right, you should all have the map in front of you, showing you 3/4 of Australia, mainly this area here called Queensland and that area of the Northern Territory. So what we've got marked on here is, in this big box, is the Great Barrier Reef. It's 2,300 kilometres long. The largest natural marine habitat in the world. Below that, there is Fraser Island, which is the largest sand island in the world. And over here in the Northern Territory, we have Uluru, Ayers Rock, the largest monolith in the world. So we have these natural wonders of the world, the Barrier Reef and Ayers Rock, and in between we have central Queensland. There's many ways to get around it. Over the next 3 weeks and in the 3-part series, we'll be travelling from Brisbane through Toowoomba, through Miles, we're going to get there on the way back, to Roma, then out to Charleville. Then week 2, part 2, we're going to travel up to Barcaldine, Longreach, Winton. This trip here is Lark Quarry. It's the only proof on Earth that dinosaur stampedes occurred. From there, Cloncurry, and we can either do a day trip to Mount Isa and back or stay at Mount Isa, and then a trip up to the Gulf of Carpentaria. We're staying in a place called Corumba. In part 3, we're going to head off from Corumba and we head west to Mount Surprise, and the biggest surprise is there's no mountain there. We're going to head south to Charters Towers and then to Emerald, but there is the natural add-on to go up to the Barrier Reef and go to Cairns, Port Douglas, and drive down the coast road, visiting the most famous beach in the world, Whitehaven. However, as we said, we're heading south, so we're going to actually head down to Emerald, then Carnarvon Gorge, and we can come back via Roma or inland and down to Miles. We've also marked on the map here a white line. If time was restricted, but you still wanted to drive from the Great Barrier Reef to Ayers Rock, there's plenty of hire cars in Airlie Beach, and for those driving in the reverse of our itinerary, at Yulara, you can get, and Alice Springs, you get hire vehicles. And you can drive all the way across on what we call bitumen, tar-sealed roads. There are some very good dirt roads that you could take, and if you head south through Winton to Boulia and then out, this is a gravel road or a dirt road with compressed stone. It's well worth noting how big Australia is and how far you'd need to travel to go from the Barrier Reef to Ayers Rock. The Channel Country is vast and it changes completely from one end to the other. In the Outback, we give right of way to the road trains. We get off the road to accommodate them staying on the bitumen. So let's start at Brisbane, the capital of Queensland. We have an area called South Bank near the centre that's a cultural precinct. well worth visiting. We also have Mount Cootha for the views, and Brisbane Botanical Gardens, and a koala sanctuary. Toowoomba's a city near Brisbane in the Darling Downs region, and it's known for its gardens and parks as well as its Cobb & Co Museum depicting life in Australia in the colonial era. We had an overnight at Bowenville Free Camp. From here to Roma. Rome is noted for its old style of buildings, its beautiful walks, and it's quite famous for a very large bottle tree. Looks large, but looks bigger with somebody beside it. Also has the Big Rig Museum, where you can go and find out how they used to mine gems in the area. From there, we're off to Charleville. Just over the fence from our camp was a visitor, one of the locals coming in. We spent a night at the Cosmos Centre, which allowed us to use their very expensive telescopes to view the night sky with a full commentary. It was very well done. From Charleville, you can take the Diamantina Development Road all the way to Mount Isa, our longest road. So that's part one, heading west from Brisbane to Charleville. Next week in part two, we're going to head north to the Gulf of Carpentaria. It's probably one of the areas that's a little more interesting and gets very arid along the way. We're going to go through the Channel Country and hopefully in the dry, because it's very difficult to pass in wet season through that area. And if you like fishing, you're probably going to love the Gulf of Carpentaria. So until next week, travel well, travel safe.